In the red corner, hailing from Tualatin, Oregon, and weighing in at 3.1 ounces, with an overall length of 8 inches, the Kershaw Launch Iridium packs a 3.45-inch blade of CPM MagnaCut. And in the gold corner, also hailing from Tualatin, Oregon, weighing in at 4.26 ounces, with an overall length of 8 inches. The Zero Tolerance ZT-0512 packs a 3.45-inch blade of CPM Krew-WEAR. 2 knives enter the KRIPPLEDOME, but only one can emerge. The King of Tualatin Oregon. Who wins? Stick around. What it do, Kripple Krew? EDC with DVD, disabled but deadly, and welcome to the first ever episode of the KRIPPLEDOME, where we have 2 firsts for the channel. My first ever zero tolerance knife to review, and the first in the Kershaw Iridium series. These 2 knives are going to go head to head, and we will determine which is the King of Tualatin Oregon. Before we get into that, make sure that you stab that like button and /subscribe. Also bash that bell so you get notified of everything coming up, like the upcoming 2K sub /1 year anniversary giveaway and tonight's episode of TNT. Yes, we're back, baby, after a 2-week hiatus. DVD and War Room are back. War Room is prepped for Blade Show tomorrow. He's already in Atlanta, and he might even have a special guest. So make sure you tune in tonight as well. All right, enough of that jazz. We are going to put the zero tolerance away, and we will start with the Kershaw Launch Iridium. As I said in the intro, this is 8 inches overall with a 3.45-inch blade length. Both knives have that in common. We will throw out a PM2. One Cliff rendition. Shout out to War Room. Grail in the house. How about another American-made knife? You know I gotta throw out my baby. The TRM Neutron 2, which comes in a fair bit shorter than the Launch Iridium. 8 inches is definitely, a full-size EDC. Some would consider large. This is the Tac Knives Goliath, and it doesn't really look like a Goliath next to the Launch Iridium. One more size comparison, one more, folks. We will go with another very well-known budget knife, the Civivi Vision FG. Actually, I would be remiss if that was our last comparison. We will give a shout out to the new Budget King. Man, I gotta wipe it down. This is the Titanium Arcade Light. You can get these right now for $72 after code EDC with DBD. Hit the Titanium link in the description. These insane knives. As you can see, they are a little bit shorter than the Launch Iridium as they come in at 7.7 inches. All right. So, with the Iridium, we have a blade stock thickness of 120 thousandths. As you heard, this one comes in lighter at 3.1 ounces with its aluminum frame and aluminum backspacer. We have black anodized coating on the scales. They do have different colors available, and an awesome stonewash on this beautiful spear point blade with our tip pretty much at center line with the pivot. The ergos are a lot different on the Kershaw Launch Iridium. It's a much thinner handle, but very comfortable still. And with my hands, I wear an extra large size glove. I do get a full grip behind the pivot with plenty of room to spare. And choking up on that pivot gets me right behind the blade. And that jimping feels really good. If I was to do some more lighter duty to medium duty slicing tasks, it is still an OTF with a plunge lock, meaning this button pushes that plunge out of the way of the tang of the blade so that we can close this. And when we open it, it goes over that part of the tang of the blade and pushes that plunge into place. I don't even know if that was centered on screen, but here you can see it a little better. There we go. There is that plunge that you can see moving in and out, and it goes over that portion of the blade with the notch. Now we do have spring tension as we close it because of the automatic feature, and I would say it is a medium strength spring on launch, and it is not difficult to close one-handed, though I don't recommend that. Of course, be smart, use two hands to close your automatic knives at all times. Also, disclaimer, DBD in no way advocates for breaking your local knife laws. Always be aware of your local knife laws and whether or not you can carry an automatic knife and the length of the blade you are allowed. All right, disclaimer out of the way. We do have a tip up as the gods intended, mostly deep carry and reversible pocket clip. And as I also mentioned in the intro, we are rocking a MagnaCut blade. This blade of CPM MagnaCut is coming in at 62 to 64 HRC, which is exactly where we would want to see it. And it does come down to a nice, very slicey edge. Even after being through a couple of reviews before me, she's still very sharp. CPM MagnaCut is going to hold that edge for a decent amount of time. It is known for its high corrosion resistance and its toughness. However, when paired against KRU-WEAR, KRU-WEAR does beat it in edge retention and toughness. MagnaCut smokes it in corrosion resistance. However, in a moment we'll talk about whether or not that affects the zero tolerance. The ergos do feel very good in just about any grip. If you are in a beef jerky Avenger grip, it's a very comfortable angle on that back spacer there, that lanyard spot. And if you're in a beef jerky Avenger grip, I cap off very well there, and the pocket clip feels great in my hand. It is definitely, the Spear Point is a blade that works well for EDC or tactical use. And they do, using this swedge right here, carry a lot of strength out to that tip. And MagnaCut is known for strength, especially 62 to 64 HRC is right where you want to see it to get the best numbers out of it for strength and edge retention both. And so this would make a very good piercing or puncturing knife. It also does give you some belly for cutting down on a flat surface or for slicing tasks that require it. It's easy to get that tip down in either like a pinch grip or a utility style grip. So very nice and just about any way you want to hold it. And in the pocket, it does make for a nice slim presence. Now, let's talk a little bit about the zero tolerance from the red or the gold corner. The 0512, of course, is 8 inches overall with a 3.45 inch blade, this time of KRU-WEAR. We'll talk more about that in a moment. We have a blade stock thickness of 160 thousandths. The same close length of 4.55 inches. This time we have a bronze anodized titanium scale on one side. And then we have a Cerakote steel liner under a beautiful micarta show side scale. We are still tip up, but even deeper carry than the Launch Iridium, and also lefty friendly. Good job, KAI USA. That's the parent company of both of these knives, which I hadn't mentioned yet. KAI USA owns both Zero Tolerance and Kershaw. Zero Tolerance would definitely be considered the more premium line, which you will find out when we get the price in just a moment. It's definitely a much wider handle. The handle thickness is 0.53 inches versus 0.48 inches on the Launch Iridium, and you can feel that. You know, it does fill the hand very well, especially for, and you like to see that on an 8-inch knife, you know, a big full-size knife. We have much chunkier jimping that still works pretty well, though not quite as well as the Launch Iridium, and it doesn't go out quite as far. This one, we have a nice clip point shape rather than the spear point. The clip point brings the tip again down center line with the pivot. This one gives us more belly, being a taller blade overall. Gives us more belly as well for flat surfaces, but still very easy to get that tip down to use for more precise cuts. The handle is less neutral for grips such as, you know, turning it around to cut straps or something. But in a beef jerky Avenger grip, again, that the way that it is shaped is very comfortable for me to cap off. And with micarta, the fact that it gets stickier when it gets wet makes me feel like I'm not going to slide on any beef jerky juices. So it does have more grip than the Launch Iridium. And in a beef jerky Defender grip, I do still feel capped off. I've got that pocket clip really locked in, and I still have that micarta scale to keep me from sliding. This nice low tip, they once again used the swedge to carry a lot of strength out to this tip for piercing. And since CRU-WEAR is noted for its strength, and we start with 160 thousandths blade stock, you would be able to pierce, even stronger with this one, I would say, than the MagnaCut on the Launch Iridium, probably. Hypothetically. We're going to get into something about that in a moment, though. The HRC on their CRU-WEAR is listed at 63 to 64, which is exactly where you would want to see it for toughness and edge retention. And it does come down from 160 thousandths to a very slicey edge. Feels very, very slicey, but still strong. The Cerakote coating on the blade erases that advantage that the MagnaCut had in corrosion resistance. CRU-WEAR, not corrosion resistant. Cerakoting takes care of that. It's a very durable coating, and it is corrosion resistant. And we have a titanium scale and a Cerakoted steel liner. Corrosion resistance, not going to be a worry with this knife. Now, the spring on this is absolutely on the stronger side. Watch if I don't hold it as well. Yeah, it really wants to kick. Let's do it one more time this way. Yeah, look at that. Look at that kick. You can even see it in my arm when the knife pops out. This is a very, very strong spring. It is still a plunge lock. Still operates the same way. There's the notch for the plunge to fit into. It is definitely a stronger resistance on the close, though I can do it one-handed. Again, I don't recommend it. I don't condone it. If you hurt yourself doing it, you're an idiot. Don't do it. Always be safe. There's, again, my disclaimer. It's definitely a wider pocket presence, and you can feel the extra ounce. I know it's only just over an ounce different. Well, it's listed at 4.4 ounces here and 4.26 here. I'm going to go with the one from the Zero Tolerance website, which is 4.4. So we're going to say it is 1.3 ounces heavier. It feels like a much heavier weight difference than that. Even though it still balances right a little bit behind the pivot. It is a little on the butt heavy side. Let's compare that right quick. Yeah, this feels so much lighter, and it balances actually about the exact same spot because it has that backspace of giving it a little bit of extra weight in the butt, but it feels ounces lighter and more nimble. Now, we've talked about specs and steels. We know they're both made in the USA, and they're both made in the same place by the same parent company. Both knives feel great and feature steels that would be fantastic to use for EDC, with the Zero Tolerance having a much bigger focus on overall toughness and like heavy duty. You know, Zero Tolerance knives are known for being able to put in heavy duty work. However, we're still talking about a plunge lock automatic. So even with all this extra blade stock thickness, the extra strength in the spring, all that extra girth, I still wouldn't recommend putting it to the heavy duty tasks you associate in your mind with Zero Tolerance. So now that we know that, let's talk about price. Well, if you look at the Kershaw website, the Launch Iridium is listed at $233, but pretty much everywhere else, and where I will have it linked below, it comes in at $179. That link is an affiliate link. If you use that, it does help my channel. That is completely up to you. But it'll be linked below in multiple colors for $179. The Zero Tolerance has a retail listing of $400 and is listed on the ZT website as discounted to $320, which is the same price that you'll find it linked below, because that's the price that I see it at everywhere. It's $320. So $179 to $320. You can almost buy two of the Launch Iridium for the price of one ZT-0512. Were this a manual, you know, I would say it's a design built for rugged heavy duty use. If it were not a plunge lock as a manual, let me say that. Any other type of locking system, and I would say I would give this extra credit for heavy duty use. But I do think that this knife is probably overpriced, even though it is so well built. It does feel great. This is the only option at the moment as far as finish, color, anything. It does feel great, but it doesn't feel twice as good as the Launch Iridium. Now, the Launch Iridium I know the manuals are in the budget category, but they're not rocking MagnaCut. The price of $179 for a USA made automatic, and then it is they make a non-qualified made in USA claim, as does Zero Tolerance. So that means that it is all or primarily all made of USA components. I believe that on top of MagnaCut done at the proper HRC of 62 to 64, I do believe that the $179 that it's linked at below is a very fair price. And if you like automatic knives and you can carry them where you are, again, I got to give a disclaimer on that, then this is an easy knife to recommend. It feels great, and I would be putting it to the same tasks as I would associate with the ZT-0512 because of it being an automatic plunge lock. So, overall, I definitely think this one is worth the money. While I think the ZT is a beautiful knife, it is overpriced. And at $320, even with the titanium scale, even with the thick Krew-WEAR, I just can't give it the nod as the King of Tualatin, Oregon, over our winner of the first ever KRIPPLEDOME, the Kershaw Launch Iridium. I want to know what you think below. Do you like this format? What do you think about these knives? Do you think I'm completely out of my mind? Well, probably. But I still say the winner of the first ever KRIPPLEDOME is the Kershaw Launch Iridium. See you tonight. Until then, stay safe, stay frosty, and most importantly, folks, stay deadly.